and welcome to Cabral House Call. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today on a Total Wellness Tuesday, we just took you through what supplements you should take, how long you should take them, how long I have my own private clients take them for in my own practice, how I wean them off, and how long that is. So, pretty in-depth episode. I give away a lot of what I do in my practice because that, of course, is the goal. I teach a lot of other health practitioners, and my goal is to literally give everything I know about health, wellness, anti-aging, weight loss away within the next 5 years. Like literally everything. All my programs, writing books. I'll have an online membership, basically just group where I'm just giving everything away. And that is my goal. That's what I'm trying to do so we get more of this information out to people. This, podcast that I'm doing on a daily basis is also an attempt to pass on these bite-sized chunks of information that's actionable, that's usable. So many people have podcasts and they write books, but it's not actionable. There's nothing you can do with it. So what I'm trying to do is try to make it as user-friendly as possible. And then, of course, if I haven't done a great job at that, you let me know. You let me know with your questions on how I can get a little bit more in depth. So please do listen and tune into the last episode. And now let's get into your questions. So Cynthia F is up first on the Cabral House Call, and we're going to answer her questions. So let's say she said, I've tried multiple diets to get rid of my Candida. Why won't it go away? All right. Again, in my practice, this is a really common issue that people come into me with. They've shown me lab tests. They know they have the symptoms of it. They have, the brain fog, the skin rashes, the, joint pain sometimes, all of the different things that the bloating that might go into Candida symptoms as well. So what I do is I look at, is it really Candida or are we looking at bacterial overgrowth as well? And what do we do about that? So if they haven't tested, I typically run, if they're able to, of course, afford it because it's not covered by health insurance, is an organic acids test. I will, if needed, run other tests as well. However, I'm trying to give people the most bang for their buck. So sometimes I'll do stool testing. Not great for looking for Candida, really great for looking at bacteria. I stopped doing the hydrogen breath test. Nice, it works as well. 3-hour test. You get a lot of false positives. You get a lot of false negatives. Okay, fine, but then that's another $300. So what I try to do is just go for one that I know is going to work. And if they can't afford it, then we just go with a Candida-based protocol that I know works. And there's really no downside to it. And the protocol itself costs as much as the testing, so why don't we just kind of get after it? Now, a lot of people are database people. I am myself. I love the data if people are willing to do that. So we test, and then we obviously go through the protocol. So why aren't people getting the results they want just through the anti-Candida-based diets? Well, one is because the foods that they're giving them are inappropriate. They're based on they believe that sugar feeds yeast, and that is true, but what if the sugar never really makes it to the Candida? Like, there are a specific type of saccharides that are in carbohydrates that never make it to be able to feed that. And so you can eat those specific types of foods. And it's starting to catch on more, which is nice. And so I use these protocols, which actually allows people to eat carbohydrates. So they're very happy about that, while at the same time eliminating Candida. Okay. The other reason they don't eliminate Candida is because eventually you start eating some carbohydrates again, and it flares right back up. And the reason is that it never really went away fully. And now again, the goal is to never eliminate Candida completely because that doesn't happen. There's always supposed to be some in the gut. It's just not supposed to move its way up in the stomach, move its way up in the esophagus, or be overgrown in the intestines. And for everyone out there who doesn't believe that it can get in the stomach and get in the esophagus, it can. I've seen plenty of, myself included, esophageal-based testing where it's actually shown that overgrowth. And so, again, whether you want to believe it or not, that's okay, but the science does show that it can be that pervasive. So what I would say is this. The reason I don't want to turn this into a whole episode, the reason you're not getting the results is because you have to remove it. You have to work on actually removing the Candida at the same time as using the diet. So you need to use the enzymes. You need to use the specific herbs like oregano or berberine or caprylic acid or zinc or all of those different things, herbs and vitamins that are going to work to remove the Candida. And then you need to put something in its place so it does not as rapidly grow back. That's why a lot of people use nystatin or other drugs to get rid of Candida. Fine. If that's the route that you want to go, that's fine. But you still have to put something good in its place. And that doesn't mean just throw in like willy-nilly any type of probiotics. You want to use the lactobacillus-based strains first, the ones that are less colon-based, because you want to populate that small intestine, which is what's supposed to be in the small intestine. And I literally could go on about this, and I've done whole seminars on it. I'm not going to do that now. Please follow an anti-Candida herbal-based protocol or supplement-based protocol at the same time as the diet. The diet is not enough. I'm very passionate about this subject because, like I said, I've gone through it myself before and work with hundreds and hundreds of people on this, and that's the only way that you get results. So it's frustrating for me to see people prescribing these types of diets and then it never really working in the long run. All right, I have to stop. Next question. The next question is from Juicing Girl 23. And so she asked, after I eat fruit, I get bloated. Why is that? All right, little sip of water there. So after eating fruit, this kind of goes back to the Candida a little bit. Like if you have excess bacterial overgrowth or you have Candida or anything like that, fruit gets digested pretty quickly. It's going to get digested for the most part within 30 minutes. And moving, basically coming into your stomach, trying to move out of your stomach. And a lot of those same fruits contain fermentable sugars that yeast and bacteria would love to feed on. And then that feeding on that fermentation process then creates gas. So basically it's like making it's blowing up your intestines like a balloon with gas or your stomach. And that can give you that bloated feeling. So I would, of course, look at removing that yeast and bacteria. And again, there's so many people out there who just don't believe it. Well, the nice thing is you don't have to believe it in order for it to actually be there and to remove it. And it works. I mean, it's just so pervasive, and I do it every single day in my practice, and it works so phenomenally well. I just say, even if you don't believe it, just do it anyway, and you'll feel better. So remove it first, and then also look at that. Sometimes people are eating like 6 different fruits in a bowl of fruit, and those fruits don't always combine all that way together, like all that great together. So in Ayurvedic medicine, you'll see that there's a principle called food combining, and you'll see that certain fruits, like citrus fruits, don't combine with other berry-based fruits, and melons don't combine with anything. So when you mix all of these fruits together, they can be used with different enzymes. They can be broken down into different patterns and at different rates, and that can cause bloating as well. When you're having digestive issues, do try to stay with almost like a mono-based meal, like just do berries or just do blueberries or just do raspberries or just do an orange. Like don't mix 50 different fruits together. It just will make it much easier. And of course, as I always say, with bloating or anything else, you need to start controlling variables. So try just one fruit at a time. Make sure that it's away from meals or before a meal, and make sure that that's not the cause of your bloating. Then start to look at the myriad of other possibilities. I first look at, of course, bacterial or Candida-based overgrowth, since it's just so pervasive. All right, next up and last up is Stephan. And Stephan asks, I'm a pretty healthy guy, pretty healthy, active guy, but don't eat that well. Should I be worried for my health? So, to be honest, I love, just making overall generalizations, but there's a whole group of people out there, a lot of them guys, and I do like to give guys a hard time, is that I happen to be one of those guys myself, where a lot of times like, you're just feeling good, so you think everything's good. But with myself, I just make sure to keep testing myself. I make sure that I'm doing well with all of these specific things. But a lot of guys, they're just not eating well. But you know what? They don't gain weight that easily. They don't feel that bad, or they're masking it with caffeine and with all sorts of other things that they don't get tested. They don't do their annual blood work. They don't ever check to look at the foods they're eating. And the problem is that, okay, it's fine when you're 20s or 30s or maybe even 40s, but what happens when you're in your, let's just say, catch up with a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and then it's caught up with you, and then you're like, oh, okay. Now you have to backtrack, and it's just so much harder at that point. So what I would say to Stephan is that if you can do your annual blood work and look at a full CBC, look at your lipid profile, look at all the different markers that you should be looking at, which is homocysteine, CRP, fasting glucose, hemoglobin A1C, all the markers for anti-aging and health. If those are good, well, then you're doing pretty good. And then I would also say is look at your omega-3 levels if you're worried about cardiovascular disease in your family. Look at a hair tissue mineral analysis. That's at least a decent place to start. Look at your ability to be flexible in life, meaning like not actually just for flexibility, but how do you feel after not getting sleep one night? Are you like really, banged up and not feeling well the next day? Or can you recover pretty quick? Can you recover from workouts pretty quickly? Start to gauge your overall lifestyle and see how well you're recovering. My thing is this, if you like to cheat a lot on your nutrition plan and you're not exercising that much, it's going to catch up with all of us. That's where genetics comes into play. Again, it catches up with everyone, but with you, it could be your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or maybe you just, you hit the genetic lottery. It happens sometimes. We just can't compare ourselves to those people. I'm not one of those people, and they don't feel anything till they're in like late 70s or 80s, and that's great. But I don't know if that's you. I don't know if you hit that lottery or not. So what I would say is at least do your basic tests, see how you're doing so far, and then start to make some gradual lifestyle changes. Maybe you don't want to give up drinking 3 nights a week or so. Well, then try to eat a little bit better. Do the things that you can do. That would be my advice, Stephan. I'm not even sure if that answered your question exactly how you wanted it, but please do write back in if you were looking for maybe more tailored advice than that. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Cabral House Call. I appreciate you, as always, tuning in. As a thank you for tuning in today, I wanted to share with you the number one system my private clients in Boston and now all over the United States are using to lose weight, decrease bloating, improve digestion, eliminate skin issues, and increase their energy all day long. It's called the Cabral Detox, and without going into all the details right now, simply go to drcabraldetox.com and you can find out how my proven, simple 7-day system can help you lose weight and feel great. There's no hype, there's no marketing, and best of all, it's guaranteed or your money back. And as a thank you for being a listener of the Cabral Concept, I'd like to offer you $10 off your next 7, 14, or 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox purchase in the month of March. Simply enter the savings code MARCH10, all in lowercase, one word, when checking out. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing your success story soon.